The Vanishing Path. Every evening, as the sun bled gold and crimson across the sky, the path appeared, a narrow, winding trail through the heart of Blackthorn Woods. No one knew where it truly led, only that those who took it never returned the same. Mara first heard of the path from old Silas, the village storyteller. "It grants you something," he had whispered. But it takes something too. One evening, driven by the curiosity, Mara stood at the forest's edge. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the path shimmered into existence. Bathed in a strange twilight glow, she stepped forward. The moment her feet touched the path, a hush fell over the woods. No wind, no resulting leaves, just silence. She walked on, the golden light guiding her deeper. Shapes moved at the edges of her vision, shadows twisting unnaturally, figures darting between trees. Then the whispering began. "What do you seek?" Mara's breath caught. She hadn't spoken, yet the question rattled in her bones. I don't know," she admitted. The path wound tighter, the trees pressing in. The whispering continued, growing urgent. Every traveler leaves something behind. A memory flickered, her mother's lullaby. It slipped from her mind like mist, vanishing before she could grasp it. Panic surged in her chest. What was the tune, the words? "A fair price," the whispers cooed. Mara broke into a run, desperate to escape, but the path stretched endlessly. Then, ahead a glow, a clearing. She burst through the trees and stumbled into her village. But something was wrong. Her home was the same, the streets unchanged. Yet, when she greeted the baker, he frowned. He frowned. When she called her to friend, "Elric," he hesitated. Mara? His voice was weary. I feel I like you. I know you, but..." Her heart pounded. The whisper had taken something more than a song. She rushed home, but when her mother opened the door, her eyes filled with confusion. "Can I help you?" Mara staggered back. She had returned, but she was no longer remembered. The path had granted a journey, but it had taken her place in the world. And as she turned back toward Blackthorn Woods, she knew there was only one thing left to do. At sunset, she would walk the vanished path again. Don't blink in the forest. It was supposed to be a weekend hike, just another trip into the woods to clear his head. But Alex soon learned that his forest was different. He noticed the whispers the moment he entered, but it wasn't the wind. It was watching. The trees seemed to shift. The air felt thicker, heavier. He ignored it, but then came the warnings. "Don't blink," a voice echoed, faint yet unmistakable. He looked around. No one was there. A few more steps and he heard it. Again, this time louder. "Don't blink!" A rustle in the bushes caught his attention, and he turned just in time to see nothing. The path stretched ahead as it always had. empty and still. But then he realized something. He hadn't blinked since hearing the warning. His eyes burned, they watered. His vision began to blur. Another step forward, and the whisper came once more. This time, frantic, almost panicked. Don't blink. His body screamed for rest, but Alex knew if he blinked, it would move. The creature in the forest, it only moved when you weren't looking. Alex forced his eyes wide open, willing himself not to blink, but he couldn't go on. Like this forever. His skin was dry. His eyelids felt like they were made of stone. He stumbled, trying to move faster, but the shadows shifted in ways that made his skin crawl. The whispers got louder, surrounding him. He could hear it now. Something moving behind him, just out of sight. He could not blink. With his last ounce of strength, Alex ran, eyes stinging, heart pounding. But when he finally reached the edge of the forest, he collapsed in the clearing. The thing was right behind him, and it whispered in his ear, "You blinked." The second birthday. It started with the envelope, plain, no return address, on Lily's doorstep. Inside was a single card, "Happy birthday." But it wasn't Lily's birthday, not for another 6 months. She tossed the card aside, thinking it was a mistake. The next morning, another envelope, same handwriting, same plain card, "Happy birthday, Lily." This time, it included a photo, Lily asleep in her room, taken from the foot of her bed. Her blood ran cold. She lived alone. She called the police. They searched her apartment. Nothing. They told her it was probably a sick joke. The next day, another card. Blow out the candles before they blow you out. No photo, just wax. Red wax smeared inside the envelope. Or maybe it wasn't wax at all. Lily didn't sleep that night. The fourth day, no card came. Instead, her lights flickered. Her TV turned on by itself, showing static. Then an image broke through a grainy party. Balloons. A cake. A girl that looked exactly like her, smiling wide, surrounded by strangers with blank faces. Lily screamed and yanked the cord from the wall. The screen stayed on. A voice whispered from the TV, "Time to make a wish." The lights died. The static fell silent, and from the hallway, someone began to sing, off-key, slow, a birthday song. But not for the birthday she knew. When police entered Lily's apartment the next day, everything was normal except for a cake sitting perfectly on her kitchen table. 6 candles melted down to ash, and the message written in the red rising, "Happy second birthday, Lily." They never found her. The roommate in 3B. When Kalia moved into apartment 3C, the landlord warned her not to knock at 3B's door. "Place my empty," he said. "Just leave it alone." She assumed it was under renovation. Until she started hearing footsteps from the other side. At first, it was just at night. Soft, slow pacing, then came the tapping, always in threes. Tap, tap, tap. One night, she tapped back. Tap, tap, tap. A reply, tap, tap, tap. She pressed her ear to the wall and whispered, "Hello?" A voice whispered back, low and wet, "Found you." Kalia jumped away. The next day, she asked the landlord again. "I told you it's empty," he said, avoiding her eyes. No one's lived there since. He trailed off. That night, she dreamed of the door to 3B. It was open. Inside, the walls pulsed like lungs. A shadow sat cross-legged, smiling with too many teeth. She woke up screaming. But the worst came the next evening. There was a knock at the door. She looked through the peephole. No one there. Then, tap, tap, tap. But not from the hallway, from inside her apartment. She turned slowly. There, standing in her kitchen, was a man. Or what had once been a man. He was thin, sunken, with a stitched mouth and rotting skin. In one hand, he held a key. "Roommates," he rasped, "we always share." Kalia ran. The door wouldn't open. The windows wouldn't budge. He tapped on the wall again, smiling. "Your turn in 3B." By morning, the apartment was empty. The landlord shrugged as he had handed a new tenant the key to 3C. "Just don't knock on 3B," he said. "Why not?" the new girl asked. He smiled weakly. "Bad neighbor."